questions, so go ahead and maybe just give him your name and your affiliation so he can address you.
You don't have to do all that. Just ask me whatever you want.
Don't be shy.
Okay, Wayne, thanks.
Yes, I guess just Wayne, could you just talk about your thoughts on this team and Craig taking over and the direction it's heading?
Yeah.
Do you see it going in the right direction?
Well, listen, in this day and age, like every other era, winning is hard. It's not an easy formula. You can't just throw the best young players together and say, okay, now we're going to win a championship. From my experience of being in hockey over the years that I've been involved, when you get a guy like Craig, who I played with, I watched coach, I watched him scout, and now he's a general manager, he has a lot of integrity, and he knows the game, and he understands what it takes to bring a team together. And so if you're looking at it from that point of view, this is really his first year. And I just have nothing but the utmost respect for him as a person, as a teammate, as a friend, and I hope nothing but the best for him. You know, it's nobody likes to lose. People say to me all the time, what do you think's wrong with the Oilers? And I always say the same thing. I can't give you an honest opinion because I've seen 5 games, and it's not fair for me to sit here and say, okay, they should do this or do that. But they're in good hands. You know, Craig is a wonderful man, and he cares, and he wants this team to be successful, and I think he'll make this team successful.
Wayne, are you surprised by some of the fans and their patience though here in Edmonton?
No, not at all.
Like,
people want to win.
Yeah, like throwing jersey on the ice and some of the billboards aimed at Kevin Lowe. I mean, they've seen.
All right, listen. From my point of view as a friend, it hurts me too because, listen, I have nothing but good things to say about everyone who's still involved in this organization. But we all understand as players and as athletes and as ex-players what the fans are feeling. They want to win. This is a very proud city. It's a storied franchise. Although it's relatively young, it's still a great franchise with a lot of history, and people want to see it to be successful. And this was sort of the coming out year after all the first picks, that this was the year of the sort of 7th or 8th spot. And after the start that they got off, everybody was like, okay, you know, where are we going here? But listen, Kevin and Craig, the people here, they care, and they hurt as much as the fans hurt. They want to win, and I think Craig is going to be a tremendous general manager. I really do.
Well, do you think you'll have many more opportunities to come to this building, and what do you think the downtown rink will do for this city and this team?
I love this building. You know, I have so many great memories here. It's a, you know, you can't. To me, when I grew up, I loved the Olympia. I loved Maple Leaf Gardens, Montreal Forum, and then I think of Edmonton and this arena. It's a special place, and you know, times have changed. We're moving in a different direction, so we're gonna have a new downtown arena, and it's going to be exciting for everyone. I'll be one of the people who's going to miss this arena. I think it's pretty special.
Wait, what do you think about the moves by the Oilers and the Islanders at the deadline?
Oh, you know what? I can't, you know, I said earlier, I can't really gauge it because I don't watch either team play enough. I can't sit here and say, here's what they need to do, or here's what's got to happen. I've seen the Islanders play 3 times because Dougie Waite's a good friend of mine. I've seen the Oilers play 5 times this year. I think they're obviously teams that are young and trying to rebuild and add as much to that group as they can. But for me to sit here and assess what trades they made, I can honestly tell you, I couldn't tell you.
You're getting the itch to get back in the game?
No. No. I love coming here and having no stress or pressure, and somebody asking me what's wrong with my team or what do you think, or I'm so happy just to stand here as a fan. I hurt for my friends because I want them to do well. They're good people. But I will tell you, I'm stress-free. Put it that way.
Why has it been so long since the Canadian team won a Stanley Cup?
Because they're not good enough. It would have been longer had we beat Montreal in '93, just so you know. You know what? It goes in cycles. You know, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think, yeah, it's a long cycle. But franchises are stable now, which is really important. Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Toronto. They're going to win. You know, it's going to happen. It's just right now it's tough. You know, I watch, obviously living in California, 3 of the best teams in the NHL are San Jose, LA, and Anaheim. They're really good teams. And I'm not saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but it's going to take a really good team to knock those teams out.
You were involved with the Olympics as a player and a director. How impressed were you with what this team did in Sochi this year?
Well, it was phenomenal. I think that, you know, they really need to be commended for how not only they played, but how they handled themselves. They were truly head and shoulders above every team in the tournament, and there were some good teams. I know how hard that bronze medal game was for the American kids to play in, because I played in it and we lost to Finland in '98. Because we grew up with the mentality of you win, and if you lose, you go home. So that was a tough game for the Americans. Up until that point in time, I thought the U.S. had a really good tournament, and they should be very proud of what they had accomplished at that point. But the Canadian team was so good, and they had so much depth, very well coached. It was nice to be able to stand there and say, okay, we can go on for the next 4 or 5 years and not have to have people say, is Canadian hockey in trouble? Because obviously we're not in trouble. It's pretty solid.
Better than your team in '87?
I'm sorry?
Better than your team in '87, do you think?
No. You know what? You can't compare teams. It's like what they did in '72 was special. What we did in '87 was special. What we did in '02 in Salt Lake City was special. This team was really good. And that's what's the great thing about hockey, and that's what the great thing about sports is. We get these comparisons, and you get people sitting around and kids and grandparents saying, okay, I know the '72 team was better in 2014, and kids are saying, no, that's not true. So that's what makes sports and hockey so wonderful in this country.
One more, guys.
It's fine, I'm not going anywhere.
What's it like to have a pro golfer as a son-in-law? Is your good better?
As, you know, I get asked that question more than any question I get asked now, because my game is not getting any better. My fantasy hockey camp is this week in Las Vegas, and he's going to come out and skate. So I'm going to show him how hard it is to actually do our sport, because you know, everybody thinks they can be a golfer, because we all get a chance that you can go on the golf course. Anybody can play golf. Now he's going to get a chance to play with some of the NHL players, and we'll see. We'll show him how hard our sport is. But no, you know what? He's a wonderful young man, and I couldn't be happier. He's a really nice man, and that's most important.
Has the NHL asked you to be an ambassador?
No, you know what? I talk to the NHL a lot. They asked me to do some things to help them with the game in LA, and I say this all the time. You know, everything I have in my life is because of hockey, because of the NHL, because of the great game it is. If they want me to do some things and ask me to do things, if I'm available, I'm always willing to help and promote the game. I think the players today are better than when we played. I think they're good kids. I think they handle themselves with class, and they're very smart kids. And I have nothing but great things to say. So if I can ever help the league, I learned from Gordie Howe, and he's a special man, and he always promoted the game of hockey.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Everybody.
Hey, Maddie.
All right, guys.